All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for the final reaction of the day. Good to see you again, Hybrid. Let's go ahead and get started with Sakamoto Days. And it doesn't appear that we are going on break after this chapter. So while we will be going on break for One Piece, we won't be going on break for Sakamoto Days. Let's begin. Yo, peoples! Qushu 92 here. Welcome back to more Sakamoto Days. In the last chapter, we had Shishiba looking over Osaragi after we see a little bit of their backstory between Shishiba and Osaragi and how she came to know Shishiba, and Kamihate coming in order to protect Shishiba and Miss Osaragi, because amongst the two people that Kamihate likes, he likes the Weather Girl, which he can't see anymore because the JAA has taken over the network. And the only one left is Osaragi, and she's been threatened due to uh due to Uzuki and his crew. And when she gets almost seemingly cut down by Uzuki, Kamihate comes in to save her and protect her. And they manage to get away because after running into yet another person that Uzuki knows, whose name escapes me at the moment, it's not Gabu, but it's something with a G. He winds up basically bringing down Shishiba. There's that annoying eyelash. He manages to bring down Shishiba, but in doing so, he wakes up Osaragi, who not only slams him into a pillar, but grabs Kamihate and Shishiba and just books it outside, and they make their escape. So let's see what happens in days 212, Shin's mission, where we see Sakamoto standing in front of his store after it was destroyed. And thankfully, Lou and Aoi were okay. What's wrong with me? This isn't the time. And then we go back in time as we have Heisuke, Kindaka, Boiled, and Shin as Sakamoto goes, "Wait, I'm coming too. I gotta help stop the citizens from rampaging." And mind you, Sakamoto, after finding out that his wife was okay, had a brief moment where he was momentarily immobilized because he just realized all the stuff that just happened. His normally calm, level-headedness was replaced with worry and concern for his wife, to the point where he actually, started trembling. And that caused him to, showcase, and he was in a cold sweat. The usual calm we see Sakamoto, he lost that after thinking that he lost his wife. But now we have an image of Sakamoto saying, "I'm coming too. I gotta help stop the citizens from rampaging." Boyle's looking, Heisuke's looking, and then Kindaka says, "You sure you can?" "You're sure you can?" "Yes, I want to protect the city." And then it cuts to Sakamoto, who's going around helping everyone take the guns from basically everyone. And I think this is Heisuke going, "Seems like there's a riot going on in the shopping arcade. What's your problem? Where'd you get off telling us how to use our bullets?" And then it shows another person. It shows a person with a gun pointing it towards another civilian who gets grabbed by Shin. "Hey! Let's calm down, everyone." And this is Heisuke. As we cut to other citizens going, "These guys want to take our bullets away. Butt out! We're entitled to our bullets." It's not even the gun, it's just the bullets in them. "Kill him!" And it shows numerous civilians aiming directly at Sakamoto. They stand no chance. "Mr. Sakamoto!" And then it shows Sakamoto. It shows Sakamoto as he halts. Huh? Hey!" And Sakamoto suddenly freezes simply because he thinks of his store and potentially his wife blowing up again. He gets a flashback of that, and he's thinking to himself, "I can't move my body." And then Shin comes in and takes a command, and he runs past Sakamoto as he goes, "Shoot me!" And then all the people under the command of Shin go like, "Huh? My body!" And they all open fire on Shin. And Shin took a manhole cover and basically protected himself. Whereas Hard Boiled comes up and he slams two civilians' heads into the ground with him going, "That's enough, you morons!" "You okay, Shin?"
Yeah. Whoa. Did I just hijack multiple people's thoughts?
Ooh, okay, we just got an upgrade for Shin. He thought he was stopping one person, but he stopped how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 8. He stopped 8 people at once, which means his powers are growing.
Whoa. Did I just hijack multiple people's thoughts? Wait a sec. Does that mean...
Taro, you okay? I'm sorry. When I try to fight, my body just shakes and freezes up. My mind goes totally blank. And then Kindaka's thinking, that's some severe trauma. I was wrong. I should never have lost my knack as an assassin. I have to get it back. And it shows Sakamoto with this very serious face, like he needs to become the assassin he used to be, possibly before he met Aoi.
No, Mr. Sakamoto. You didn't lose anything. You found something even more important. Being afraid to lose people doesn't make you weak, Mr. Sakamoto. It's the path to make you even stronger. We need you to wield that power, Mr. Sakamoto. I haven't forgotten the plan to build a chain of Sakamoto stores all over Japan.
And that catches Sakamoto's attention.
Leave this part to me. I'll protect everyone until you're ready, Mr. Sakamoto.
And then we cut to the Okutabi Science Lab with the old dude. With the old dude that was with Shin. Okutabi Science Lab 2. Because remember the first one, we went through that whole arc.
Hey, mister! Hurry up, there's no time! Is this the stuff?
Hey, you bunk. Don't mess with things you don't understand. I haven't heard from you in years, and now you show up out of nowhere with this ludicrous request? You want me to power up your ESP to a mind-blowing level?
Yes, you can do that, right, mister?
When you hijack people's thoughts, you're basically sending specialized electrical signals to another person's brain to activate specific neural pathways. Theoretically, if we could mechanically pick up your brain waves, precisely tune and rebroadcast them to a widespread area...
Spare me the nerd talk and get going! And get moving!
Cheeky brat.
How fast can we make this happen?
Well, in 2 or 3 days, maybe.
What? That long?
Look, I'm a scientist, not an engineer. Doesn't mean I can't do it, but... And then someone walks up and goes, I'll help. And Shin and the old dude look back. It got pulled away. Sorry about that, everybody. But the old scientist dude, and it was something Takaba. It was Taka something. I forget his name. But he goes, "Look, I'm a scientist, not an engineer. Doesn't mean I can't do it, but." And then someone walks up behind Shin and this guy and goes, "I'll help." And Shin and the guy look, and it's Kashima! I had a feeling it was going to be Kashima. It's Kashima. "I'll help."
Kashima, you're alive?
"I've been looking for you guys." "Who do you think you are, you son of a... How dare you come here and..."
Mister? Actually, this guy's now..."
And it shows that Kashima's body is still left in the same state it was when Hana took him around the town and put him on these different parts for his body, because it just simply shows what's left of him. "At that time, I had a different idea of what justice meant. I'm sorry." And this catches both Shin and the dude off guard. "I just want to put an end to this madness. Please, let me help." "Why now?" "Master X is abusing power as an outlet for his personal feelings. Lots of innocent lives are being sacrificed. That's a far cry from my idea of justice." And the mister just looks at him, and then they lay out plans. And he puts it in front of Kashima.
Mister.
"These are the concept drawings. Let's bust this out in an hour. Roger." And it cuts to people in the streets. It cuts to citizens in the streets where they all have guns in their hands going, "I want to shoot some bad guys. Where can I find some bad guys to kill?" This is utter anarchy. And then we get Heisuke and Kindaka and Boyle going, with Heisuke going, "Where'd Shin go?" "No clue. He said he had an idea." And it cuts to Shin, who's apparently on top of a radio tower with a big old megaphone and headphones on. And then it cuts to Mister going, "Shin, this'll place a colossal burden on your brain. If you start to feel weird, don't push it."
Mister, crank it up to max output."
"You crazy son of a..." And then Shin is standing there over everyone, over pretty much the entire area, as Mister goes, "All set, have at 'em." And then Shin just closes his eyes, breathes in deeply. Denim was barking, and I'm trying to read out the last part of this chapter. He was getting on my nerves. But he breathes in deeply, closes his eyes, and thinks,
"Everyone who's holding a gun right now..."
And he screams,
"Point it at the ground and let her rip!"
And that's essentially him giving this order to everyone with a gun and asking that everyone shoot the ground. Ooh, and if everyone gets affected by this, they'll wind up using all 3 of their bullets, and the dangers of more deaths because of these bullets happening will go down significantly. Okay, now I know I had to step away twice. Ducky, what's going on? I hope your day has been great. And like I said, Hybrid, good to see you as well. So now, first, Shin had this idea after first, Sakamoto, he got trauma. He's traumatized. And he can't even be as effective. He can't even be useful right now because he's still traumatized of thinking that his wife almost died. And he's nowhere near the level of capable that he was before all of this happened. to the point where he can't even move his body to dodge gunfire, which we all know that Sakamoto is completely capable of doing. But this dude is still traumatized by his wife's life being put in danger, that he doesn't think he has what it takes. At the moment, he's thinking like, maybe I need to go back to the way I was as an assassin. And Shin's all like, don't worry, that's what we're here for. And we also see that Shin has apparently learned that he can hijack multiple people. Not just one, but multiple people. Multiple people. So now he's talking to old Mister about increasing his ability to hijack even more people, and even though the recoil from trying to, command hundreds, if not thousands of people all at once, I feel like it's probably gonna hurt Shin. Because we've seen him tax his brain to the point where it has been excruciating before, and him suffering side effects for him even trying to look into the future just a little bit. Here, he's trying to hijack more people all at once. This chapter was really nice for just having more characterization. Yeah, it was good for characterization. It was good for that. I wasn't expecting a giant exuberant amount of action or anything, but I like these moments where we get more character development. Because who would have thought we would see Kashima show up out of nowhere to help Shin and that old Mr. guy in order to come back with a formula for Shin to be able to hijack more people, or a way to hijack more people overall. Because what Kashima stood for at the beginning is nowhere near what Uzuki is enacting right now. And even he can tell that the person that I followed has gone way off the deep end. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he's saying. He's gone off the deep end completely, and this isn't what I signed up for. A lot of innocent people are being caught up in the crossfire, and that's not what I'm about. So he's all like, please allow me to help. I'm sorry. See, when you get moments like this where opposing forces start apologizing, like, especially genuinely apologize, kind of reminds me of when Bakugo apologized to Midoriya after all he did growing up. It reminds me of those character development moments that just scream, oh, this person is not only genuine, this person is actually having some significant character development that will greatly benefit them in the future. So now we have Shin basically given a command to hundreds, if not thousands of peoples to just shoot their guns into the ground so that they can't point them at anyone else. Because remember, as soon as all of those those 3 bullets get used up, the gun automatically locks. So not only do we have Shin and company working in a way to make it so that the guns become pretty much unusable, but Natsuo is from My Hero. Natsuki is also working on a way to just completely disable the guns as a whole. So we already got 2 groups already working to basically subdue people, and Shin's group is already in the action of seeing if he can hijack all those people and make them fire their guns and make them essentially useless. Because that would be so much quicker than them trying to physically restrain people and just take the guns from them. Even though Kendaka's fast, it would still take time. So it's nice that they've learned, hey, how about I use my ability to make everyone do what I say? Even if it's just, and the thing is, since these are all civilians, their wills are not strong on the levels of JAA agents, where they can, be less susceptible to hypnotic suggestion or even mind control. They're just regular civilians. They're literally the people we see just watching all this stuff happen on the outside. So I highly doubt there's going to be anybody who is resistant to all like, what is that? Oh, I don't want to do that. And then they start trying to fire more guns everywhere. I hope we get more of Natsuki's squad. They're all great characters I want to see more of. I want to see them too. I want to see Natsuki. I want to see, the dude, I forget the dude that had the dude that has that big old hat who has like superhuman hearing. Your old girl, your old fanboy girl, your old fangirl, and Natsuki's brother, Mafuyu. Why is it that I remember his name but not not the other girls. You know what? Let me look her name up. Hold on. I'm gonna find out their names. Give me a sec. I'm looking it up. Students. Students. Let's see. Toramaru, Kaji, and Mafuyu. Yeah! Yeah! Toramaru, Kaji, and Mafuyu. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I had to remember. I had to remember all of their names. But Kaji, the dude that has the super hearing, Mafuyu, the brother of Natsuki, and Toramaru, the fangirl. I had to get all of their names down. Yeah, I had to get all of their names down. Also, I can't really bring up those web pages while I'm also streaming because those web pages take out so much memory, and that's the reason why my face just kind of skipped there for a moment. Just bringing those, that's the reason why I prefer to bring up the pages on my phone rather than try to do it on the browser itself, unless we're like reacting to stuff live. But yeah, we need to cut back to their group and see how much progress they're making. How much progress Natsuki is making to making it so he can just disable the rest of the guns that Shin doesn't, doesn't get under his command and cause people to fire the guns into the ground. So I, like you, Ducky, I would like to see Natsuki's group back at the JCC and see where things go from there. We also need to think about the fact that Osaragi, Shishiba, and Kamihate are out there somewhere. Whether they're going to run into Sakamoto and join their group, or if they're just going to strike out on their own remains to be seen. But considering that Shishiba has some, personal ties to Mr. Yotsumura, who has personal close ties to Kindaka, I would not be surprised if Osaragi, Kamihate, and Shishiba wind up siding with Sakamoto's entire group, and then we have 3 former members of the Order who are going up against the new Order right now. That includes the people from Alkamar. So there's still some ground to cover before we start to wrap things up. Honestly, when you think about it, this feels like endgame territory for this story, doesn't it? Because where do you go once Uzuki's been taken care of and normalcy has returned to Japan? Where do you go after that? Because Uzuki is pretty much the biggest threat in the entire story now. So once that's done, are we done with Sakamoto Days? Maybe it's a bit too premature for me to bring these things up. Maybe it's a bit too soon for me to bring these up until we get close to, okay, we resolved the gun issue, now we need to resolve the Uzuki issue. So maybe it's a bit too soon for me to be bringing that up right now. We'll talk about it at another time. Overall, this was a nice characterization chapter. Definitely feel like we're in the last arc of arcs. I feel like it as well. Because the biggest threat to Japan is Uzuki, and him trying to force a world of lawlessness and violence in order to maybe somehow get an era of peace out of it, just like Rion would want, but I'm pretty sure Rion Nakao would not put anyone in this situation because she's not that type of person. Even her personality tried to stab Uzuki in the neck. So I honestly feel like this may be the last arc of Sakamoto Days. If it isn't, and there's a bigger threat out there, I don't know what to say at that point. But we'll talk about that more once we get to a point where the gun situation, and remind me, Ducky, remind me to talk about, because I'll probably remember this more than likely. I'll just remember this and talk about it later on because I tend to. But we'll discuss this more once the gun situation in the hands of civilians has been completely eradicated and it's been completely taken care of. And the only thing to worry about is taking the fight directly to Uzuki. And pretty much I want to say that if we are going to get to Uzuki, we got to go through the entirety of the JAA, which means once we're done with the gun situation, we need to form a plan, lick our wounds if need be, and prepare to take on the JAA and the Order before Uzuki is at the end, and we need to take care of him. So there's still some steps we need to go before we get there, so let's just resolve with the gun situation for now. But yes, I wholly agree with you. We need to get back to Natsuki and see how much progress he's making. To see if he can really lend Shin and Sakamoto and everyone else a hand with the whole guns thing so that Shin doesn't have to put his brain through trying to get hundreds of groups of people to drop their guns or fire their guns so that they can't use them anymore. There's a sneeze on the edge of my nose. Sorry. But we'll have to see. But yes, next, and since we're not going on break, I hope the next chapter we get focuses on Natsuki and the students back at JCC. That's what I hope for. But overall, this was a very nice chapter, including, Shin letting Sakamoto know that you're not alone anymore. You don't have to do this all on your own. Let us take it. You've done enough. Let us take care of things until you're back on your feet, until you're back where you need to be. So this was a nice moment for Sakamoto, and I feel like he has to do everything by himself, and even he can rest up if need be. But yes, I like this chapter. Today's chapter of One Piece was incredible, and this was a very nice chapter, which was heavy on characterization, which I found to be a very good one. Because I like characterization chapters, where it's not like, heavy with exposition. It's not heavy with exposition, but there's plenty meat there for you to better understand the character, better understand the world, without feeling bloated, which is what I like. But overall, nice chapter, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. This was great. Thank you for tuning in to today's session of Sakamoto Days. I hope my dulcet tones helped convey the things that happened in this story with my dramatic reading and such. I really do hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you, and because I know you're coming back anyway. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!